Closer to New York than Paris, it is the second largest French-speaking city in the world. With 80 different ethnic groups, it is vibrant, cosmopolitan, and rated one of the most livable cities on the globe. Hello, I'm Don McGowan. Welcome to Montreal.
With 3.4 million people, Montreal is the second largest metropolitan area in Canada. Parks cover more than 10% of Montreal Island. The city is home to 47% of Quebec's population. A blend of old and new, Montreal moves at its own pace, more easygoing than anything else.
Montreal remains a city of distinct neighborhoods. Outremont, here on the north slope of Mount Royal, is a middle to upper class francophone community of cafes, lovely parks, and grand homes. There is a slight hint of a Parisian district here, with a different accent.
Pratt Park is one of 6 green areas in Outremont, one of Montreal's more desirable neighborhoods. Centuries ago, apple orchards and farms here served Montreal as a vast market garden. Many influential Montrealers live on the leafy streets of Outremont. In 1929, the city gained another grand theater, the Outremont. The interior was conceived by Emmanuel Briffa, a painter and decorator who designed some of the city's great movie palaces. The Outremont Theater has been restored to its original grandeur and today serves as another important concert stage in Montreal.
It is to Montreal what pastrami is to New York, smoked meat. In this town, this is comfort food. And Montrealers argue endlessly about who slices the best smoked meat. Indeed, there are some famous spots, downtown, Ben's, and on the main, Schwartz's. Here in Outremont, it's Lester's Deli. Smoked meat, fries, dills, and a cherry cola. The good life in Outremont. That's great.
Romanian immigrants combine smoke, brine, and spices to produce Montreal's famous smoked meat. Place an order through Lester's website. Ask for medium. Elsewhere along Bernard Avenue, outdoor cafes and boutiques mix well with nicely preserved early 20th century buildings. A pleasant, enticing avenue. The neighborhood ice cream shop, Bilbo Quay, is known citywide.
Merci.
Bonjour. Merci s'il vous plaît.
With dozens of delicious flavors, I'll stick with chocolate chip.
A smoked meat sandwich and an ice cream chaser. This is summer madness in Montreal. A truly distinctive architectural feature of Montreal is the outdoor staircase. They can be spiral, L-shaped, or in a straight line. In a city that can have a long, brutal winter with over 200 centimeters of snow, these outdoor staircases don't make sense. Pity the mail carrier.
Outer staircases date back to a period when wealthy Montrealers built their homes back from the street with exterior staircases. The trend was adopted by the middle class, and the design became a fad. The rich folks were not amused.
There is one explanation for these open staircases that I like. Years ago, neighbors and the local priest wanted to know who was dating whom. Ah, bonjour, Madame Tremblay. Ça va?
A bakery, Monsieur Pinchot, is a delightful discovery in the Plateau district. Pastries, fruit waffles, and tarts are made daily. Pick up Quebec maple syrup. And bread, of course.
Ah, my baguette. Merci, Monsieur Pinchot. Dog lovers love this place because you can buy dog biscuits. Hey, Nikki! Nikki! Hey, Pitou. Bonjour. Ah, the Montreal bagel. It is the best. Certainly better than the New York bagel, which is just thick bread. The Montreal bagel is small, it is sweet, made with eggs and no salt.
They roll great bagels at the St. Viator Bagel Shop 24 hours a day. Over 1,000 dozen come out of the wood-burning oven every day. You'll eat one on the way out. Since 1957, the Wall of Fame keeps adding celebrity testimonials. Owner Joe Morena, then and now.
In the early 1800s, wealthy French families lived around elegant St. Louis Square. Among the handsome 19th century houses are some really fine B&Bs.
St. Louis Square is located in Plateau Montreal in the heart of Montreal, just minutes away from downtown, another one of the many interesting faces of the city. In a charming Victorian house facing the square, the Pierre and Dominique Bed and Breakfast offers comfortable lodging at very reasonable rates. There are single, double, and queen-size beds. On the patio, there's a different breakfast every day. You'll like Pierre's organic cuisine and fine espresso coffee.
Saint Laurent Boulevard, St. Lawrence, known to Montrealers as the Main, the symbolic dividing line between the English and immigrants on the west and Francophone communities on the east. Although that symbolism does not reflect present-day demographics, the Main can be upbeat and sometimes just a little scruffy.
This is the street where at one time the tenderloin wasn't necessarily on the plate. Residents in the area and the shops they run on Saint Laurent Boulevard represent many cultures. Portuguese, Greek, Polish, and Vietnamese add to Montreal's rich heritage. For the crowd that likes to begin partying late, the Main, with its bars and cafes, is the place to be. From trendy restaurants to fast food joints, the Main has it all. And you'll find the most beautiful servers at the Mediterranean Grill. Coming up next, up on historic Mount Royal. Below the mountain, downtown. And Montreal underground.
It is the town's most famous landmark, Mount Royal. It's not the Matterhorn, still, it is Montreal's mountain. Montreal got its name from the mountain when Jacques Cartier climbed it in 1535 and named it Mont Royal. Jacques was the town's first hiker.
Montreal's famous cross sits atop Mount Royal, designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, an American who planned New York's Central Park. Montrealers love their mountain. Love in bloom. Inaugurated in 1876, Mount Royal Park was designed to maintain the natural character of the mountain, which rises 232 meters above the city. Please note, tourists are tolerated by the locals. From the chalet and its scenic lookout, there are classic views of the St. Lawrence River and the city below.
You will soon acquire your own favorite spot in Montreal. This is mine, Dorchester Square, Place du Canada. This patch of greenery is surrounded by some of the city's more interesting buildings.
Windsor Station and St. George's Anglican Church. Gleaming towers surround the square. Built in 1918, the Sun Life building was once the largest building in the British Empire. The modern building boom started with Place Ville-Marie, Mary, Queen of the World Cathedral. City bus tours depart from the north end of Dorchester Square, close to a tourist information office. The tour is a good way to get your bearings in the city. Downtown St. Catherine Street is Montreal's prominent commercial thoroughfare. You'll have to walk 15 kilometers to hit all the major department stores, shops, and restaurants. St. Catherine Street is served by 8 metro stations. Along Sherbrooke Street are high-end shops and art galleries. Drop in for tea at the Ritz-Carlton. Beautiful McGill College Avenue runs north from St. Catherine Street to the main gates of the university. Metro stations lead to Montreal's underground city.
Given Montreal's long winter, it's not surprising 500,000 Montrealers travel in their underground city every day. This labyrinth extends for 30 kilometers. Talk about hitting the ground in bad weather. Trains arrive every 9 minutes on weekends, every 5 minutes Monday through Friday. We're traveling on a Saturday.
The subway, suburban trains, and buses are all interconnected. Corridors from the metro lead to a labyrinth of 2,000 department stores, boutiques, restaurants, and theaters. The indoor network links 60 building complexes where you can walk 6 kilometers without going outside. The underground city is the largest in the world, a practical maze for Montrealers and a major tourist attraction in itself. I found my way back to St. Catherine Street.
The Molson Centre is home to the Montreal Canadiens hockey team. It is summer in town and the boys are swinging golf clubs. In this hockey-mad town, when the boys return to the ice, winter will not be far behind.
This is a hockey town where the home team has won the Stanley Cup 24 times. The season runs from October to June. Montreal's Olympic Park is home to the popular Biodome. In this wonderful environmental museum, you walk through several ecosystems, each with its own climate and physical characteristics. The penguins seem to be the stars of the show. A must-see, Montreal's Biodome is open daily. Close by, Montreal's Botanical Garden is one of the largest of its kind in the world. From spring to autumn, tour 30 outdoor gardens. The Chinese and Japanese gardens are superb. In winter, escape to the greenhouses.
Internationally, Montreal is known as a gay-friendly destination. The city has one of the largest gay neighborhoods in the world. The 40 blocks are known simply as the Village.
The Baudry Metro Station bears the colors of the gay community. With its cafes, bistros, antique shops, and family restaurants, the Village is a lively district day and night. The Village is not exclusively gay. Straights live and operate businesses here. Given Montreal's inherent open-mindedness, it is not surprising the Village evolved. Jean-François Perrier is with Tourism Montreal.
Montreal already is a very gay-friendly city, so I think everybody can quite feel comfortable throughout the whole city. But of course, stepping into the gay village, you are like a little step more because maybe you can get closer to your friend or hold hands, like you could do it maybe on the plateau a little bit, but in the village here, you can really be yourself.
That's
totally.
The comfort factor.
That's the comfort factor, yeah, you can say that.
Coming up next, biking in the Old Port. The birth of a city. And Montreal's Great Basilica.
Okay, you history buffs, Montreal was founded in 1642. The French settlement became the fur trading capital of North America. Montreal's historic city center is exceptional. As you wander along the narrow streets close to the Old Port, you are walking through 350 years of New World history.
The handsome City Hall dates to the 1870s. Visitors can relax by a fountain before heading across Place Jacques Cartier. to a promenade at the old port. Have lunch at an open-air cafe. In the 19th century, St. Paul Street was the city's main street. Take a walking tour of Old Montreal and enjoy the fine examples of urban architecture developed in New France.
On its list of the 10 best cycling cities in North America, Bicycling Magazine rated Montreal #1. The city has over 700 kilometers of bicycle paths, which I will complete in the first 3 hours.
Yeah! You can rent a bicycle at the port. Montreal's network of paths are linked to suburban routes. Maps and guides are available at tourist offices. I'm riding west of Old Montreal, heading for the historic Lachine Canal. The route takes us by huge grain elevators. The Lachine Canal was built in 1825 to bypass rapids on the St. Lawrence River. This is a very good ride. Montreal's Musée Culture is a fascinating, unique exhibition combining the talents of designers, architectural landscapers, welders, and horticulturalists. Spectacular floral sculptures are featured in this event called the Magician's Garden, with work by horticulturalists from across Canada. Vegetation over wire frames become amazing floral art at Musée Culture at Montreal's Old Port. Pointe-à-Calière, the Montreal Museum of Archaeology and History, is the birthplace of the city, the result of more than 10 years of archaeological digs. Montreal's first Catholic cemetery was discovered here. On the intriguing self-guided tour, you see artifacts found on the site, representing over 6 centuries of occupation. The site of Montreal's founding before the French arrived. You walk over models of the old city to meet an interesting pioneer. Who are you?
Sarah Huerto, at your service. This is our new inn. My husband Jacob and I had it built right on the square. Do you need a room for tonight?
100 years ago, the skyline of Montreal was dominated by spires. On a visit here, Mark Twain said, "It is impossible to throw a rock in Montreal without hitting a church window."
English Canada is predominantly Protestant. In Quebec, the majority of the population is Roman Catholic, although most Quebecers are not practicing Catholics. In Montreal, almost all religions are represented.
Place d'Armes is the heart of Old Montreal. It represents all the periods in the city's history. The magnificent Notre Dame Basilica dates back to 1829.
It is a masterpiece of Gothic Revival architecture. The basilica's interior is sculpted wood, paint, and gold leaf. Notre Dame Basilica is open year-round with guided tours in English and French. The majestic sound of the symphonic organ can be heard during all religious ceremonies. Coming up next, the Expo Islands, cafe life in the summer, and the Fireworks Festival.
In 1967, Canadians had World's Fair fever as Montreal hosted Expo 67. The national and theme pavilions have long disappeared, leaving a vast parkland named for a long-serving mayor of Montreal and the father of Expo, Jean Drapeau.
You can reach Parc Jean Drapeau by metro, car, bicycle, or boat. The lovely Expo 67 Islands are just minutes from downtown Montreal, the former site of Italy's National Pavilion. Walking, biking, skating. You'll like this island retreat. Montreal's casino is the former pavilion of France. Using filtered water from the St. Lawrence, Notre Dame Lake and Beach offers all water sports.
Dining in Montreal is a real treat. There are 4,942 restaurants in the city, serving 80 different regional and national cuisines. There are many excellent restaurants that have a bring-your-own-wine policy. In Montreal, you can buy beer and wine at the corner grocery store. It's called a dépanneur. I'm going to buy a bottle of wine here before we move on to the restaurant. A nice Chateau Mal de Tête.
You can purchase higher quality wine at government-operated liquor stores where the selection is wider.
Cafe life on an open terrace can help erase the memory of a cold winter. In January in this city, the temperature can drop to -35 Celsius. Is it any wonder Montrealers love their terrasse?
Le Saint-Sulpice is a popular cafe and bar. Montrealers have a particular passion for their city in the summer. It's about living outdoors and enjoying a city that hosts more than 40 major events, festivals celebrating jazz, humor, and film. You've got to be here.
Quebec's largest amusement park, La Ronde, was part of Expo 67. It's a good spot to watch another summer festival, the International Fireworks Competition.
From mid-June to the end of July, the International Fireworks Competition lights up Montreal's sky. The world's leading experts in pyrotechnics put on spectacular shows, and the neighbors never complain.
Montreal is indeed festive in the summer. If you sensed I have been especially enthusiastic about this city, well, I was born here. I live here. Come see us someday. For Trave, I'm Don McGowan. Goodbye from Montreal. Home, Melanie?
Oui, monsieur.
Don McGowan's Wardrobe provided by Henry Marks, located on Drummond Street in Montreal.